Karen and the HOA audacity reached new heights when they fined me $30,000 for a cabin I had purchased outside their jurisdiction. She assumed that fear, authority, and arbitrary enforcement could coerce compliance. What she did not anticipate was that I had prepared meticulously, ensuring that every overreach would be met with legal precision, turning their audacity into financial and reputational ruin. It began when a formal notice arrived, stamped with the HOA's seal, demanding immediate payment of $30,000 in fines for violating HOA codes on my cabin, which was located well beyond the association's legal boundaries. Karen, believing her power extended without limits, assumed I would panic, negotiate, or comply. Her audacity, fueled by a history of intimidation, relied on fear rather than legal standing. I calmly reviewed the notice, cross-referencing property deeds, municipal zoning records, and state laws. Every fact supported the cabin's location outside HOA jurisdiction. I immediately contacted my legal team, preparing to escalate the matter. Karen's audacious claim, built on assumption and aggression rather than law, had already begun unraveling. When the HOA attempted to enforce the fine through coercive tactics, threatening liens, property seizure, and public shaming, I responded strategically. Documentation, legal notices, and evidence of overreach were compiled meticulously. Every threat became an opportunity to expose their audacity as illegal and actionable. Karen, expecting fear and immediate compliance, watched helplessly as the narrative shifted. Notices of overreach, legal warnings, and public exposure dismantled her claims in real time. Her audacity, previously a tool of intimidation, now became her liability. The HOA's leadership faced mounting pressure as their reckless overreach became undeniable. I then took the case to court. The HOA leaders, confident in their prior successes, assumed they would intimidate the legal system as they had neighbors. Instead, the evidence, documentation, and jurisdictional clarity left them exposed. Every attempt to assert authority over property outside their purview was systematically dismantled, and the court recognized the audacity for what it truly was: unlawful overreach. Neighbors, lawyers, and local officials observed the proceedings. Karen's audacious claim, meant to create fear and submission, became a public spectacle of recklessness. The $30,000 fine, once a symbol of her power, was invalidated, and the court not only dismissed the claim but began considering sanctions for the HOA's baseless actions. By mid-afternoon, the HOA leaders were facing the consequences of their audacity. Legal fees, potential fines, and public embarrassment mounted. The audacity that had allowed Karen to manipulate and intimidate neighbors for years now became the foundation for her accountability. Cedar Pines learned firsthand that boldness without legal standing and preparation is powerless against informed resistance. Reflecting on the incident, the lesson was unmistakable. Audacity, when untempered by law, logic, and foresight, is entirely self-defeating. Karen's attempts to leverage fear over property outside her jurisdiction failed spectacularly, leaving her exposed to financial, legal, and reputational consequences. By evening, the HOA leadership, including Karen, was publicly humiliated. The cabin remained fully under my control, the fines nullified, and the community reminded that reckless boldness cannot override preparation, knowledge, and the rule of law. Cedar Pines absorbed another cautionary tale. Entitlement and audacity may intimidate the unprepared, but they collapse entirely when confronted with foresight, legal authority, and strategic response. Karen's audacious attempt to fine me $30,000 had backfired spectacularly, leaving her exposed, accountable, and humiliated before neighbors, officials, and the courts. Her audacity, once a tool of intimidation, had become her greatest liability, and Cedar Pines residents now had a vivid lesson on the limits of reckless authority.